This video, thank goodness, is not going to take an hour. Alright, so before we get started, there are two things that you need to know. Number one, all of these sound demos in this series are recorded on a binaural dummy head, and in order for you to take full advantage of a three-dimensional sound field, you must be wearing headphones. Second, this video is being sponsored by ATS Acoustics. Shortly after I started on the sound shed, they reached out to me about collaborating on acoustic treatment, and their timing couldn't have been any better. So, whether you are in the market for diffusers like the ones that I'll be showing in this video, or absorption panels, which we covered in last week's video, remember to check out the links in the description box down below, or simply just give them a call and tell them that Ron sent you. They have been incredible to work with and have my full confidence that they will take care of you guys. So over the last 3 videos, we have gone from chatting about building the sound shed to moving in furniture, tackling bass issues, cutting our reverb times down, and in the end, ending up with a listening room that is finally under control. In doing so, we have earned the privilege of having some fun with diffusion. So, the concept of this video is precisely that. Broken up into only 2 segments, we will first spend some time checking out some sound demos that will allow us to hear the effects with and without diffusion. I have also tightened up my edits so the changes happen quicker and might make it easier to hear the differences. Second, we will check out the measurements with the diffusers installed and chat about what they mean to us. This is the sound of my voice, front and center from the listening position. This is the sound of my voice, front and center from the listening position. This is the sound of my voice from the front left corner of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice from the front left corner of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice from the front right corner of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice from the front right corner of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice to the left of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice to the left of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice to the right of the listening position. This is the sound of my voice to the right of the listening position.
Staying at home, turn off the phone, I will listen to you. Staying at home, turn off the phone, I will listen to you.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do?
off the phone, I will listen to you. Staying at home, turn off the phone, I will listen to you.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do?
First, let's display our previous frequency response shown in purple. Now, using the overlay option in REW, this is our new response with the diffusers installed. You know, a common theme throughout the series is that focusing solely on the frequency response might not be the best approach to identify everything that is going on, and this example is certainly no different. Moving on to something more interesting, let's examine our previous RT60 time. Looking from, let's say, 90 Hertz and beyond, we observe a fairly linear response in our reverb times, with peaks as high as 480 milliseconds and valleys as low as 248 milliseconds. Obviously, we still notice some higher reverb times and bass frequencies, but again, RT60 times under 100 Hertz are tough to rely on. Switching to our measurement with the diffusers installed on both the front wall and the side walls, it's evident that most, if not all, of the remaining peaks have been leveled out from 90 Hertz and above. This is impressive, and I must say the changes in the lower frequencies were also very surprising. Now look, I already know what you're thinking. Just because we see a better response in the lower frequencies doesn't mean I'm now going to change my tune and suddenly proclaim that bass in the RT60 times is reliable, because, well, it's not. Looking at our previous waterfall and comparing it to the one that we have now with the diffusers installed, the most significant change is in the upper mid-range, where the excess energy is reduced and straightened out, and the waves are now falling into a straighter line. Taking a look at the spectrogram, we can see the same thing, but it's even more obvious. Before, we could see a bit more energy in the upper mid-range, and now there is a more even and controlled decay time. Playing with diffusion is a lot of fun, and I wish the recording translated spatial information a little bit better so it's easier to appreciate the differences heard in the room. Either way, there were a couple of things that stood out to me in the sound demos. First, with the human voice, it seems to me that the last bit of chestiness in my voice has been cleaned up. These diffusers have wells that are 6.5 inches deep and begin scattering at 325 Hertz. Now, that's not super low on paper, and it was surprising to hear just how much it helped with cleaning up the bottom half of my voice, and something that I didn't expect. Second, the shaker demonstration was an eye-opener. While it's pretty easy to determine where I am located without the diffusers, I felt that the clarity and precision of my location with the diffusers was as close to real life as it gets. Without any smearing left in the shaker's decay, I felt as if I could hear the individual grains inside the container, and it was a little eerie wearing headphones, knowing exactly where I was by tracking the sound of the shaker and the clarity of my footsteps. Now, as for the speaker demos, there were some things that I expected to happen and even some surprises. First, one thing that's really hard to hear in the recording is any of the vocal recordings sound much more in the room with me as opposed to plaster to the wall without the diffusion. Vocals just seem to bloom or blossom in the most pleasant way with the diffusers, and I love how they seem to open up the soundstage. Also, the overall clarity in the midband improved, and spatial locations of instruments also sound three-dimensional and are easier for me to track. As for surprises, call me crazy.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
But the lower mid-range, mid-bass, and even the top end of bass sounds a little more focused and clear to me. Now, that's going to sound insane to a lot of folks out there, but hear me out. I have a theory as to what we can at least chat about. Is it possible that the good things that I'm now hearing in the lower frequencies were there the entire time, and the diffusers didn't necessarily enhance them, but by cleaning up what's above those frequencies, perhaps it's just easier to hear the lower frequencies for what they actually are? It's hard to say, and I'm curious what you guys think and what you heard, so make sure you leave your comments down below. So last night, I got to thinking I should at least mention this. A little bit unusual, but now I have my sidewall diffusers flipped on their sides, and this is worth at least trying out. You might dig it. Depending on your room and your soundstage height, what you're able to pull out of the height of the soundstage, if you flip the diffusers on their sides to where they're now scattering information on the vertical plane, it might do some interesting things that you might dig. In this room, I have really tall ceilings, and I like these diffusers more just standing straight up and then obviously scattering on the horizontal plane. But either way, there you have it, folks. We have pushed the envelope even further, and we have explored the effects of diffusion in the sound shed. This series has been a blast to work on, and the positive feedback is incredibly inspiring. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a thumbs up, which will help get this video more attention and help a lot of folks understand just how important room treatment is for great sound. Also, we have the final episode next week, and I even have a little surprise for you. So, with that, I'll see you acoustic treatment loving audiophiles in the next video.